Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Alrighty, welcome into another edition. It's the NFL opener edition of the JP Peterson Show. How about that?
Whoa!
We got Lions at the Chiefs tonight. Let's go. Let's go. We need a motivational speech from Matt Campbell. Yeah, that'd be good.
We got let's go right here. Let's go! Little Tom Brady.
Is that Tom Brady?
It is Tom Brady. Yes, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. Hasn't it? Doesn't it seem like it's been forever with this whole?
Yes.
It seems like it gets
Yes.
longer every year, especially
the anticipation grows more and more every year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are jacked up for tonight. I will be watching some NFL football, and we are days away from the Bucs making their 2023 debut in a season that is, I won't say it's the most anticipated. I would throw some of the Brady years in there. But it's I would say this is the most curious season and opener of that. I'm going to put that moniker on it right now. It is the most curious season opener for me. Let's set up the show. First of all, welcome to you, Peter Blake. I'm coming to you live from our winter garden, beautiful winter garden, where it was about 72 degrees this morning. Absolutely gorgeous. We are ready for some football, no doubt about that. We've got Harry the Greek coming on at 10:30. Going to give you some winners. We gave you some winners last week. We'll give you some more winners coming up this weekend. Scott Carter will join us with the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report at 11 o'clock, live from Gainesville, as they get set to hopefully avenge that loss to Utah. And we got lots of Bucs to get to. Baker Mayfield spoke yesterday. There's some curious things on the injury list going on, so we'll get to all of it today. And of course, and by the way, the curious story of Mike Williams. Mike Williams, the premature reports of his death were evidently inaccurate, even though he was still on life support. What a sad story this is here in Tampa, right at St. Joe's. I thought it was up in Buffalo. There's been a lot of misreporting on this whole deal, but yeah, we'll get you the details on that as well. And last night, Tyler Glasnow was absolutely freaking phenomenal.
Yes, he was. Yes, 14 Ks.
When Glasnow is right, man, I don't think there's anybody more dominating in the sport. I mean, last night, when you strike out 14 of the 22 outs that you get, 14 of 22, I mean, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. He was throwing 98. The hook was just ridiculous. The control was perfect. 22 swings and misses. The slider was devastating. 22 swings and misses, 14 Ks, just too short of the record in only 6 innings of work. 93 pitches. He is now gone 6 innings plus in 9 of his last 10 outings. That's very un-Glasnow-like, but we love it.
Yes, and 134 Ks since May 27th. 134 Ks. That's your ace right now. He has to be your ace because McClanahan, Rasmussen, all the injuries that you had springs at early on in the year and now lately. But he's definitely your ace right now and pitching like it. And he pitched like it last night. And the Rays needed it. They needed it.
Well, it's a startling stat they put up last night on the Valley's broadcast. It was, Tyler Glasnow's ERA the last month and a half and record was like 5-1 with a 2.56.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the starters were 8-14 with a 4.56.
Wow.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Even though you feel like Eflin's been pretty good, and you can kind of count on him, like, Glasnow's the guy. He's the only elite pitcher left that the Rays have, elite starter. Eflin's been good, but not fantastic. You need more than that. You needed a Shane McClanahan, right? You needed some of these other guys for the playoffs. But look, they've won 10 out of their last 12 series. It's hard to ask more of that. Mm-hmm. But Jesus Christ, the Orioles just keep on winning. Last night, 10-3, late on the West Coast. Austin Hayes had 4 hits, 4 RBIs, including a home run. I mean, they just don't stop. They don't stop.
They don't.
But,
I mean,
the Rays are still 3.5 games behind them.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like to do any damage, the Rays are going to have to win the division. It's not over. They got 3 games coming up next weekend in Baltimore. It's looking more and more like they're going to have to sweep those, which is a tough ask, quite frankly. But the way this team is playing right now, you got to figure. I mean, if I got to predict, are they going to go in there and sweep them? No, that's not happening.
Right.
But who knows? Who knows? And if they win this division, maybe they're set up. They can do some damage. I mean, Brandon Lau right now is just on fire. He is on fire. His 19th home run last night. Paredes gets his 28th. One of his patented down the left field line in the corner shots. Basabe had a great play to save a run last night. That was a much cleaner game. I mean, to say the least, and to be Captain Obvious here, a much cleaner game than the night before that they won. And that's the way they're going to have to play. Looks like Taylor Walls is getting ready to come back as well. So they need his defense. Hopefully he can bring a hot bat. I'm not holding my breath on that deal. But it was good. And Glasnow was as good as I've seen him in a long, long time. And, the one thing he talked about is after the game is he's not on an innings count right now. Going into the season, they thought he would have to be on an innings count because, he just tires at the end of the season. But with the oblique injury, he starts basically halfway through the season and he can get through that and be dominant. Now you just got to find at least one more dominant starter, and they just don't have it right now as far as I can see.
You don't. You hope that Zach Eflin can return to that form because he's shown flashes of brilliance this year where he can be like that. He can be dominant, but lately,
but he just is too. It's too much. He doesn't have the swing and miss.
Yeah,
there's too much contact. He's got to be so perfect to be great, and I just don't expect that, especially against the elite offenses in this league. You just can't go in with one dominant starter when everybody has 2 or 3. I mean, they were set up for it with McClanahan and Rasmussen and Springs and all that, but, that's all gone. He's all gone.
Yep.
And losing Jason Adam in the pen as well, that's a huge hit. I mean, the guys are doing a good job, but I don't know. I don't think they have enough horses to get it done. Just being objective, I wish that was different, but I just don't see it. What do you think?
I mean, I just never rule this team out. And as much as I want to say, you know what, all the injuries are going to take their toll. Playoff baseball is different. This team is different. They're winning 2 out of 3 series. I don't know. Maybe this clubhouse is galvanized. Maybe they do get better when it comes to the postseason. Maybe they're just waiting on the postseason. You would hope that they can win the AL East. But once again, we go back to Baltimore. I mean, that series, how important, JP, is that series next week with them? That's basically for the division. If you don't win that, you're basically a wild card. And then there's an opportunity there to, have a 1 game. And who's to say? I mean, Glasnow, you feel good about pitching that 1 game, wild card set. But I don't know. I don't rule this team out. You never rule this team out at the end of the day. You know that, and I know that, and I get it. They have all the injuries, but maybe this team is different this year. Maybe this team has a chip on their shoulder from last year when they couldn't score against the Guardians.
Yeah, no.
I haven't sold you on it. I haven't sold you
on it. No, you could chip on your shoulder all you want, man. Look at that Astros lineup. You know? Yeah. Pretty freaking good. Pretty freaking good.
Astros. It always comes down to the Astros, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it kind of does in the American League. I mean, not to say nothing of the Dodgers and the Braves and
Damn, how about the Texas Rangers going all in and 4-15? What a complete disaster!
This guy sucks.
I mean, that's a disaster. So
yeah, they have if they just hit the skids.
Yeah,
man.
And the wild card is a 3-game series, right? Wild card now it's 3-game series. I'm thinking of the second wild card, or I don't know what I'm thinking of here at this point. It's early. Yes.
Yeah, I think the wild card's now 3-game series, and then the divisional playoffs 7, and then the ALCS 7. Right?
Yeah, I got a bad taste in my mouth from last year from the Guardian series, and I feel like the team could be the same way. Honestly, they didn't hit last year, so they need to do it this year.
Sorry, I had to chuckle there with that line you just had, the bad taste in your mouth. If anybody saw the Tucker X interview, I just went right through me right there. I was like, wow. Yeah, let's just throw that cliche away for a while.
Yeah,
that's gonna need to be out there. Anyway, I hope it gets better. I hope that that Eflin gets better, but he's just not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
McClanahan's that guy. Rasmussen could have been that guy. Springs could have been that guy. The Glasnow was fantastic. We had 2 or 3 of them. We'd be okay.
Yep. Well, I mean,
sons of pitches.
Can he pitch? Can he pitch twice in a series? Because if he can pitch twice in a series, that's an advantage, right? And then
not in a 3-game series.
Not in a 3-game series. No, of course not. No.
Yeah.
But
you got to get that through that one first. Yeah. I don't see it. But anyway, let's hear from Kevin Cash, or let's hear from Glasnow first. Tyler doing a post-game interview, coming back out with Trisha.
Yeah.
No Mark Topkin getting in the way. And here's Glasnow.
That's great.
Tyler Glasnow, 14 strikeouts. That ties a career high, and that is a season high. Early on, your stuff and your command looked special. Did you feel that way too?
Yeah, I think tonight was definitely different than I think most games this season. I was talking with Kyle this week, and it was the first time I feel like I've finally got behind the ball, and I got my carry back. And he's been kind of rattling some stuff off to me throughout the week, and we finally found something that worked, and I took it out to the game, and it felt really good.
How helpful has he been throughout this process for you, coming back from that early injury this season?
He's always been extremely helpful, but this year especially. I think trying to come back from Tommy John than last year, this year, I just think it's the consistency is a little bit more all over the place, and having him, he's known me for so long. When I'm good, he knows what I'm doing, and he's really good at kind of giving me good cues. He knows me well, he knows what works. And tonight especially, I feel like all the stuff he's been helping me out with this week has been extremely beneficial.
You've now made more starts in the majors than any other season in your major league career. What does it mean to you to feel fully healthy and full go, especially in September at this point?
Yeah, it feels good to feel good, I guess. I think before I was always having elbow issues, and I'd get around this amount of starts, and even before that, it would just not feel great. And I think having a new UCL has done me a lot of good, and it feels a lot better to have one than to have one that doesn't work.
Last thing for you, your assessment of this team in September. The bats seem to have come alive, back to what they looked like early in the season. The bullpen has been lights out. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think it was only a matter of time. When we had a little rut there, everyone kind of knew internally that we're going to start hitting again. And I think, everyone's kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. The offense is doing great. Bullpen's been phenomenal. It's very encouraging, so I hope we can just keep it going.
Tyler, congratulations. Thanks for the time.
All right. Welcome back. So there you go.
I love listening to Tyler talk about pitching. He's kind of a pitching savant. He has a great broadcast career ahead of him, by the way, when he finally retires. And I hope he has a long career. Obviously, the 2 Tommy Johns, the numbers aren't great for guys that have 2 of those, but it's a new world when it comes to that these days. So hopefully he can do it. It's just, he's never had more than 17 starts in a season. Right. And it's just, those are numbers that are historically relevant. So you hope for the best. You really hope for the best, and we'll see what goes on with this. By the way, was having some discussions with some folks yesterday that are involved in the stadium deal, stadium process, some folks with knowledge of a possible sale. And, it's interesting when it gets quiet. When people stop talking a lot, it means, it's like everybody shut up. Don't say a word. Don't get out in the press about anything. Just shut up. And, something's about to happen. I just got a feeling. I got a feeling, man.
You got a feeling?
I got a feeling. I had a feeling something's about to happen. So hopefully something will pop. Some new ownership will pop up, and they'll take care of the new stadium, hopefully in Tampa. I'm almost assured of that. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes down. And I think that's what gets me excited about this club. If we can combine some great local ownership with a stadium in Tampa, with all the premium seating and all the extra revenue that's going to come along with that, and ownership that will actually put the money back onto the field, I think this place, Tampa Bay, will just explode from a baseball standpoint. We know this is a great baseball market. If you've lived here, if you've grown up here, if you've been here for any time, this is a fantastic baseball market with tremendous baseball roots that has been given a shit sandwich for a long time from ownership of this team. They just have, in a terrible stadium in a terrible location. And when we finally get it right, people will see that it's not, Florida's a bad place for baseball.
Right. It's always a bad place. That's why you have spring training.
I have to laugh at that. It's like we host, 75 spring training teams, right? And that's weather related. I get it. But it's not only that. People come out. People love baseball here. Baseball, Little League baseball, Pony League, major, all that stuff. It's in the fabric of almost every city. It's huge in South Florida. It's huge in Tampa Bay area. It's big in Orlando. Everywhere. Baseball is big, and people love the game here. But what people see is a lack of attendance at Major League Baseball parks, and you just look at how horrible the Marlins have been run, and their terrible stadium situation. They played in an effing football stadium forever, and a terrible one for baseball. And then they build a nice park in the worst possible location, with again, terrible ownership. We've just done it all wrong here. And if we just actually get it right and get local ownership that cares about it and actually puts the money back into the team and not into their pockets, then in a location that's in the center of the market, it's just with the growth that's exploding here, that's why I'm excited about the future of this team. And I do think that there will be an ownership change in the very near future, and hopefully a new stadium situation. And with the core that they have of this team, depending on what the hell happens with Wander Franco, and as I sit here today, I feel it's more dubious than not. I just feel that he may not ever play for the Rays again, but that's okay. Doesn't mean we've been to the World Series without him. We can get back again without him. It's a tough one. You have a foundational piece like that, like a Juan Rodriguez. You would hope that, you could build around that superstar. Sorry, we got to move on. There's other ways to skin the cat, and we'll see what happens with him. That's the tough part about it.
I want to go out to this comment here. Ticket prices don't help with back to school. Even Wrigley this week was about $20,000 versus the Giants. And it's really easier to stay home, right? Save your money, save money on gas. It's the experience, but the experience itself is somewhat expensive. We've said this the last couple of years, how ownership doesn't do enough, and they've kind of turned the corner now and started to do some of these things, cut ticket prices down, cut this, cut that, and it helps the fan want to come out. That's what it comes down to, making the experience that much better for the consumer. Because
exactly,
consumers don't have time or the money to pay for, baseball games. They have to pay for rent. They have to pay for their gas. They have to pay their bills. That's what's important right now. So it's
disposable income. Yeah, yes. Disposable income is going straight to, nobody has hardly anything. I think I read yesterday where 56% of Americans right now don't have $1,000 in savings. I mean, think about that. They don't have $1,000 in savings. 56% of Americans. I mean, yeah, the cost of life right now is just ridiculous. And it wasn't this way a few years ago. It really wasn't.
Right.
Like everything was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then something happened. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Man, it's hard to pinpoint, man. Whoa. Everything costs so much suddenly. Oh, what's going on? Shocking development. Shocking development. It's hard to figure that out. It's just inflation.
Oh yeah.
But this is true. Lonnie Wilkins, great baseball man, knows his game. Tampa revenue with the Rays brains in the front office will be amazing. Absolutely. I look forward to it. And it just the sense, I was talking to this person yesterday, the sense that if this local ownership group, I think that's going to gets it, they get Tampa. They get Tampa Bay. They get the region. They're local people. They're not in it. They're rich enough that they don't need it to pad their wallets in their Wall Street reputation. They don't need any of that. All they need, they just want a winner and to bring something to the community that brings everybody together. And that's what we need. That's what we need. That's what the Lightning have done. That's what Jeff Vinnick has done. To some degree, that's what the Buccaneers have done over the last few years, right? Mm-hmm. They've done their ownership, their front office brains. They put it all together. And the outlier right now are the Rays, and that's because of their ownership. And if we can get great local ownership, I know people are pissed at the Glazers right now for the Mike Evans thing. I get it, but they have been exemplary owners since they bought Man United, and that whole era. I'm not going to sit there and defend that. That was awful, but it set them up for being able to spend big money to get Brady here and everybody he wanted. And, they opened the checkbook for as many, the 75 coaches that Bruce Arians wanted and everything else. So you could be pissed at the Glazers for what's going on now. But personally, I think, it's just not a terrible idea to limit the amount of money that we're going to give a 30-plus-year-old receiver. As much as I love Mike, and he is the best of the best in every facet. But this is a young man's game. And you can't pay for past performance. You got to pay for future production. And when you start paying for past performance, you become a bad franchise. That's a bad business move. Yeah. So it's business. As much as we love Mike, he's made a lot of money in his time. He's given a lot of money away. He's good. He's good. He would like more. Sure. Everybody wants more, right? And it's okay for him to want more and for his agent to want more. But hopefully at some point, there'll be a reasonable solution for everybody that's reasonable.
It's gonna get done. It's gonna get done, Bucs fans. Okay, just trust the process. In light we trust. It's going to get done. They're going to get it done. Mike Evans is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer for life. It's going to be fine. Everybody just relax. Just relax a little bit.
Relax. All right, let's transition into the Buccaneers here.
Let's do it.
As very curious. The depth chart came out. Sean Tucker was number 2. I think he's going to have, as I said yesterday, I could see him getting 6 to 8 touches early on in the games, and then maybe increasing that depending on his production. He's lightning quick. I love the burst that he has, and I think they've seen a lot more in practice than we have. Keyshawn Vaughn is now relegated to 3rd on the depth chart, and he's not happy. He was, I guess, not at practice yesterday for personal reasons, but unexcused. Yeah, you're going to be excused pretty quick, Keyshawn. This is not a good development for him. If he wants to get traded, go ahead. But dude, stick and stay. Injuries happen in this league, and you're not. Everybody's got a list of really good running backs they have on their team, and if you think you're going to force a trade or do something like that, you're wrong. You're wrong. Get your ass back into work. Go to work. And if something pops, you'll have your opportunity. But you haven't shown much in the preseason. I've been a big Keyshawn Vaughn fan. I think everybody else has kind of soured on him. I've seen ability with him, but it seems like he's been trending down lately. I don't know what's been going on in practice. I don't know what's going on in his personal life, but that was a bad move. Not showing up in practice because you're not happy about the depth chart. That never works out, especially with a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of leverage. to be quite honest.
Yeah, and you need 2 running backs in this league because you never know, knock on wood,
You need
about
4.
injuries. Yeah,
You need 4.
you really do. You really do in some cases with all the injuries and everything else and how teams use their running backs, you're going to need. So you never know. You know, he may be called on to do this. So what does it say for him and his attitude, coming into there or not coming in and being, fully prepared? It looks really bad. It's a bad optic on him. And for a guy that's, again, not shown much of anything besides being a 3rd-round pick, and who remembers him and his fumble on Thursday Night Football during that Brady year, that first year? I mean, that's what and maybe that touchdown versus the Chargers in that situation. But besides that, I mean, there's not much to go off of with Mr. Vaughn.
Yeah, for a 3rd-round pick, as James said here, he's a wasted 3rd-round pick. At this point, you're right. I thought he was going to be, she showed some flashes to me, and I liked a lot of the ability, but I think his attitude and whatever's going on with him has kind of put him, down the depth chart a little bit. And this shenanigans are not going to help. Kalijah Cansey did not practice yesterday. I don't think he's going to play this week. That's not good.
No.
If this Bucs defense is going to be great, or a top 5 defense, they have to have a significant, and I mean a significant contribution from Kalijah Cansey. I was counting on him to be kind of an X factor, to get that penetration in the run game, to create havoc in the pass game where they're going to have to double team guys inside and not outside. That would have been a huge plus for this pass rush. Without that, I'm a little concerned about this defense, especially against the high-powered Minnesota Vikings offense. That's not a good development. That calf injury has really set him back. They had hoped that he'd be ready. It doesn't appear that he's going to be, and that's not good. Your 1st-round pick can't answer the bell. But a team that's counting on young players to step up, no bueno. No bueno.
Yep. And when it happened, you felt you kind of thought like, Vita Vea situation, right? When he got hurt his first year, his rookie year, and he was, not the biggest impact. And you kind of hope that doesn't happen with him because, again, all you heard about during training camp is how, a great first step, and he was showing it. And of course, the Bucs, they make him a 1st-round pick for a reason because they want him to make an impact right away. And he has to make somewhat of an impact for this defensive line.
Yeah, he does. And without him, other guys are going to have to step up. Logan Hall, what do you got? Year 2, let's go. Let's see what you got.
Let's go.
Shoyanka, what you got? Let's go, GATS. Let's see what you got. Some of these young kids, Yaya Diaby, make an impact. Make an impact this week.
That's the guy that's going to make an impact this year. Book it. Yaya Diaby.
Oh, yeah? Book it? Book it?
Book it. Book it, my friend. Yaya Diaby's got everything. I don't understand why he went 3rd round. I don't understand it. He's got everything that
he's raw. He's super raw, man.
Right.
But he's super raw.
Yeah.
He's super raw. I talked to him in the locker room after one of the preseason games, and he's a little wide-eyed. He's a little wide-eyed. And he was like, man, I was out there my first snap, running down. I'm in the NFL and, I got some opportunities and, I got to make the most of those opportunities. There's like Trey Palmer is like chill. He is chill. Sure. He's like, yeah, man, no face, no name, doesn't matter. I'm playing. And it looks like Yaya's a little bit starstruck, a little bit wide-eyed. So I think it'll take a little time for him to kind of, but he'll be fine. He's a monster. The dude is a physical freak. And the other thing about him right now, I look at him and I don't see a fully grown, developed NFL man yet. You wait till next year when this guy gets 1 year in the nutrition program and the weightlifting program. He is going to be a effing monster.
Of course he is.
He is good. If you could I see these guys come in as rookies and they look a little soft, they're not real cut. They haven't, really gotten into being a professional athlete yet, where every day is about making your body better. Every day is about, where, you hear the year 2 stories like, I cut out the French fries, I cut out fried food, and they just look, their body just becomes completely different, right? Now they have an NFL body. He's not there yet. I don't know anything about his eating habits or anything. I have no idea, but I can just kind of feel this coming next year. So I hope he's, hopefully he'll make an impact this year. Hopefully he'll speed up that timeline because he's already a physical freak. He is already, but he's still, he looks a little soft. And that will change. That will change with him once he gets this, becomes a true professional athlete. So we'll see. But it's a hell of a challenge in week one. They're one of the biggest underdogs on the board, although it's gone from 7.5 to 7 to now 6. So it's just a good segue, right? We got Harry the Greek coming up.
Yes, we do.
We'll take our first break here, and we'll talk some gambling. Get your pencils ready. Get your popcorn ready. And we gave you winners last week with the FSU money line. I gave you the under on the FSU. I gave you a couple other winners last week. So we'll get some more winners. Had a good week. Let's get it going for week 2 here. Week 1 in the NFL. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Get that personal attention you so richly deserve. And if you are making a hurricane claim, make sure you have a great attorney like the Jeeves Law Group and Scott Jeeves representing you, because you will get a better outcome. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stuffy, overpriced sports bars will come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio, and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on Fans.
All right, welcome back on this NFL opening weekend Thursday. I cannot wait for tonight's game. Very interesting game. And we have a controversy of sorts. Will Travis Kelce play tonight after hyperextending his knee? My guess is a no, but we shall see. Let's bring in our good friend Harry the Greek to talk some gambling. What's up, my friend? Thank you for the FSU money line. I was just going to, take the points. And I said, you know what? I feel like they're going to win outright anyway. Let's just do the money line. So we collected very nicely on that. And I had the over, and I had a little parlay. So ching, 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 my man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, JP. Peter, how are you guys this morning? You know what? It's only 3 more days of wake-ups until Sunday comes around. I understand we have football tonight, JP. I get super excited and jacked up because you know what this time of the year signifies for me? Money.
Here
comes
the money.
Here we go. That's what it signifies. JP, I'm so sorry about that Florida Gator pick. I'll tell you what.
It's okay. I got it
over.
Right. You got that one wrong, but it's not, you're not 100%.
No, but you know what? And there's one thing you'll never see me do. I hate making excuses. We all know what we watched. We all know the game should have went over, but shoulda, coulda, woulda.
You understand? But here come the excuses. I would never do that, but here come the excuses.
But here come the excuses anyway. So what's going on, JP? How's life in the stardom world out there, brother?
Hey, it's a good week. Good first week. Made some money on college football, so that was good. I would have made more money if speaking of excuses, Penn State screwed me big time. Oh my God!
Oh.
That last bad beat drive. Are you kidding me? Take a freaking knee. What are you doing, James Franklin? Take a freaking knee. What are we doing here?
But hold on. I want to talk about something sweeter.
What's that?
Everybody knows me, my alma mater, and I absolutely love the Florida Gators, even being from Chicago. Has no problem jumping on that bandwagon for FSU, baby. I am going to have such a good time. You know what's even better than that, JP? Clemson sucks. You can say it. Just let it roll off your tongue. It feels good. Clemson sucks.
They suck.
Yeah.
I told you. Look, man. Look, they're going to be okay, but they're not the team that everybody thought about it. You and I were having that discussion last week, and I said, look, don't expect the kind of game. If you cannot take Duke and the points in that game, you shouldn't bet it because if it smells like it, it usually is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Duke's better than people think too. So I like a couple college games I like after week one. I like FSU minus 30 against Southern Miss. There's no way Southern Miss cannot stop FSU's offense. FSU will score 65 points at home.
You really I don't think so?
Against Southern Miss, they got zero defense.
Well, then if that's the case, then play something in the proposition bets in regards to the total team points for FSU. They do have those that are available for those of you that don't really want to bet the game. You can, you don't have to bet the game just to bet the game. If you're kind of interested in the game, watch the first half, analyze what you see with your own 2 eyes, and then make an assessment and what you like in the second half. No,
that's actually, and the Duke game was a perfect example of that. As soon as I saw Duke being able to handle Clemson in the trenches. And there, that was the thing that I saw. And this is a little, I don't know how you feel about this, Harry, but this is one of my big tells. I watch the trenches early on in the games. If there's a certain team if the certain team is running the football, like you saw, Duke could do that. They could, they were getting some decent pass protection. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is definitely, Clemson's not going to destroy them. What was another game I watched where it was totally the other way?
How about TCU in Colorado? I got a question for the Greek.
Oh, yeah.
Do you bet the over?
Colorado was an easy play.
Every time Colorado plays with that defense, and would you bet the over on those games?
I think they're going to run out of players, Pete, by week 5. That's just my personal opinion. It's a great story from the season that they had. Absolutely love what, Primetime is doing out there with his 2 boys. It is something that, that has to be said, that coaching has a lot to do with it. It's not just the players. And it's also about the attitude and the, what do I call it? It's about the culture that you're going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to downplay, and pee on someone's parade. But they're not going to hold this up. They're not going, they're not going to go undefeated this year. They're going to have their losses. They're going to be a mediocre team. And honestly, if they finish 500 or better, that is going to be a fantastic season for them, and they may even catch a bowl bid, which is a lot more than they have in years past. But
True.
that team is actually coming up.
I'll disagree with you. I wouldn't call him mediocre. Shedeur Sanders is not mediocre. Shedeur Sanders, from what I saw in week 1, is an elite quarterback. 501. I know TCU is not the TCU of last year, but 501 and probably should have been 650. He had 3 deep drops that he put right in the bucket. Travis dropped 1, Weaver dropped 1, I think Horn dropped 1 deep ball, so right in their hands. He runs that offense to perfection. He knows where to go with the football. He can move, and he's accurate, and he's got a deep ball that I haven't seen in quite some time. So I'm not saying they've got a great quarterback. So I'm not going to call them mediocre. They're in I was just going to call the Pac-12 mediocre. Not this year. Oddly enough, in their last season,
I know
they finally have a group of teams that are going to give Colorado, last year they might have won 9 games in this league. This Colorado team. This year, I don't know about that. So we'll see. I think 7 wins is very doable for them. I do think there'll be some attrition, especially along their offensive and defensive lines. But I think I think they're better than you think they are. And I'm taking them this week.
I didn't say
I'm taking them this week. I mean, 3 points at home and then Nebraska. Come on.
I get it. And Nebraska doesn't put up a whole bunch of points. And maybe I should be a little bit more clear when I'm speaking. And you are correct. He is a really, really good quarterback, and he has the potential of being an elite quarterback. But it takes more than one player to make this team to be fantastic. And their challenges are going to be strictly on defense. I don't think they're going to have a problem offensively. I think they're going to be able to run at will. And I think this team is going to be last year's TCU offensively, not defensively, but offensively. I think they have that capabilities and even being better than that. So to JP, you are absolutely correct. And I stand to be corrected on that.
Right, nice to bet the over if their defense is not that good. Bet the over in every game, right? I mean, that's an easy bet. Is that
after 3 weeks, Peter? Vegas has a tendency of putting that way up in the air.
Gotcha.
I've seen overs. At JP, we've seen over and unders in the 70s. I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, how are you supposed to bet that? That's every possession you have to score. You miss one possession, that doesn't go over.
Well, there were a few games that went over 70 last week, and I was like, "Wow, this is interesting." All right, so let's talk about some of the games you like. You want to start with college or pro? Where are you going?
Well, let's go pro, because this is the week for professional football. And as I alluded to last week, I don't really like to bet too many games the first 3-4 weeks of the season, because I like to be able to get a handle on it. It is so easy for people that monitor their wagers throughout the course of the season, because they get so amped up and they want to bet these games so far early, and all of a sudden you find yourself a couple of dimes down, and now you're playing catch up for the rest of the season. And that's not where you want to go. You want to be able to pick and choose. A wise man once told me, you can't win every game unless you bet every game. But that's one of the most moronic statements I've ever heard in gambling. A true gambler and a true prognosticator is going to bet games with caution in the first part of the season. Let's start it out. Let's go Detroit and Kansas City. There's a reason why this game is only 4.5 points, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because Detroit's got so much hype. They are a real good football team, but let's be real. It's not Kansas City's offense that's going to go ahead and blow this game apart. It's going to be their defense that's going to be able to subdue the running game that Detroit's going to be vaunted for today. Do not be afraid tonight to take Kansas City minus the 4.5 points. JP, what's your thoughts?
The Chiefs defense minus Chris Jones has been ordinary at best. So, and he ain't playing. So, and Travis Kelce may not play. I would doubt that Travis Kelce plays.
He's not supposed to play.
Yeah, I mean, you hyperextend your knee, 2 days later, you're not playing in the game. And for a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, but it's the NFL opener."
Yeah,
the Chiefs don't give a rip about that.
There's another 16 games after this. He's got to be ready for.
We got a long way to go. So, I without Kelce and the Lions are going to be fired up. I don't feel great about picking the Chiefs. And to your point, if you don't feel great about it, don't play the game.
Don't play the game. This one you bet with caution. But if you have to make a bet,
I'm going to take the Lions. If I have to bet this game, I'm going to bet the Lions.
I don't fault you.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it. I'm looking a little bit at the God, I hate to say this, but early in the season last year, unders were killing it. Were they not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of going back to last year, and I'm going to go, okay, unders were for the first 3 weeks. I think they were like a 70% clip. It was ridiculous.
It was just shy of that. And Pete, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
when we were talking on your platform a couple of times when we were doing
Mhm.
the over-under, we were talking about all the over-unders. Everybody, did you know that over 80% of the people, when they make a wager in Vegas, they're inclined to make an over wager?
Yeah.
It's those other 20% that love the under that are usually technically successful, just like home underdogs. And we've discussed that from before. And this over under is 53.5. I couldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But again, if you watch the first half, you can get an idea what they're going to do in the second half. And there you may be able to go ahead and identify if you like an over or under, or if you like a side.
You like the under better than the over at this point with Chris Jones being out.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't touch that with your money.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. I have no professional opinion, but if you back me into a corner and I had to bet this evening because I'm a sick individual, I'd have to take Kansas City at home -4.5, even without Travis Kelce, even without Jones on defense. I think this line has been deflated because of the hype of the Detroit Lions. They're still going to have to prove to me that they're going to be a real super solid football team. They finished last year very strong. I love the way Campbell's got this team running. I love what Jared Goff is doing. I love the addition of, Montgomery in the backfield with the superstar young kid that they put as a first-round draft pick. They're going to be deadly, but it still takes a village to make everything come together. This is going to be the year we're going to find it. But in my opinion, I never bet against streaks.
No
guys.
Kelce, no Kadarius Toney. He's been iffy. Is he going to play? I don't know. And if he plays, how good is he going to be? His game's all speed and change of direction.
Yep.
So if I have to bet it, how do you feel about teasers? Are you a teaser guy?
Kinda.
I could tease this to 10.5 and almost 60 and take the under.
Or
I might do that.
If you were going to tease it, I like your idea, but drop that total down and go over because I do think that Detroit's going to score 24. I do.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I do think they're going to score 24 points in this game, and I think they're going to get a couple of short fields because their defense is for real. And with Hutchinson on one end, and who's on the other end on that defense?
Donovan Smith. Oh yeah.
Okay, I mean, I had to bring that up because that's Peter's favorite player from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former Buccaneers.
He'll be better this year with two arms.
I think so too. And honestly, I think there are so many other games that we can talk about that have a lot more significant to make. You have that opportunity to go ahead and make money, such as how about right here in the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons.
What do you like?
Oh, absolutely. I don't care who's playing quarterback, Ritter or Heineke. I mean, my favorite beer. Atlanta's supposed to just roll this team. Even with that vaunted defense that Carolina has, I do think that Young is going to struggle, even with a suspect defense from the Atlanta Falcons. I say lay the 3 points at home. And the over and under is 39.5. That means they're not confident a lot of people are going to score points. What's your thoughts, guys?
Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I don't think they're going to score a lot of points. Although the thing is for Atlanta, they do have some weapons now. They just got Bijan Robinson in the draft. I mean, what type of impact is he going to make? Kyle Pitts. I mean, the big time question is Desmond Ridder. So, like you said, it's early in the process. I don't know if they're going to score any points either. So I'm going to go with the under on this.
I like the Falcons in this play. I think Bryce Young is in over his head, pun intended. I think the Falcons are going to run the football right down their throat, and I think that
Hey JP, this is Bryce Young. Ready?
You're doing Leo.
Set 26. Set hut. I just had to do it, okay, guys? But at least we agreed on something, JP, okay? On that one, we definitely agreed on. You know what? Here's a real interesting game. And again, people that know me, and I always preach home underdogs, home underdogs, home underdogs. Cincinnati banged up Joe Burrow, gonna play. Cleveland got a lot to prove, because I'm going to tell you right now, if Cleveland doesn't come out of the gate strong this next 3 or 4 weeks, they are going to be clamoring for this ownership and what they've done to this franchise, especially with one Deshaun Watson. By the way, has anybody ever heard about what happened with any of these settlements? No, because they keep throwing crap under the rug. That's for another story. Bet Cleveland at home plus the 3 points. And as a matter of fact, don't even take the 3. Put them on the money line, grow a set, and go ahead and let's make some money. Over and under is 48.5. I have no idea what to do with that. JP?
I'm going all week long. I'm tinkering with the idea of just going under on every game. But I think last year, week 1, God, it was like, was it? Trying to think of maybe like 14-2, like the under last week 1. It was just ridiculous.
And JP makes a 250 team parlay for $5 to cash for $6.5 million.
Every under hit, yes. This crazy ass league, it'll be every over hitting this
you
week,
understand
right?
now that you said this?
Yeah.
In the world of gambling, JP, I'm going to have to do this. You understand that, right?
Yes.
I'm going to have, because you can't make over a 10-team parlay. And believe me, I am not an advocate of parlays, but now this sicko is going to make a 10-team parlay and take my top 10 teams and just make an underplay in every one. I mean, why not? What do we got to lose? Do you know how? Do you have any idea? Listen, a wise man always said, the price always makes up for the pick. A lot of people are not going to understand that. But the price will always make up for the pick. JP, can you imagine us laying down $0.50 down on 10-team parlay at every game under, and we're sitting there going, don't score, don't score.
Don't score. And there's certainly a possibility here the Bengals having a rough start, because Joe Burrow, you're not sure about that injury. Even you would assume, guys, that he's going to play in this game. But let's say, he's not ready to go. Then where do you go at that point? So I definitely think the under is the smart play here.
I think so, too. Green Bay at Chicago, guys. How about them? Here, let's just roll off your tongue. This feels good. The Bears are favored against Green Bay by a point. Here, say it with me. The Bears are favored by 1 point.
Yes.
Oh, and I wanted to make an announcement. Jordan Love, it's been announced by 2036, he'll be the next New York Jet. Anyway.
Well,
if you can't bet the game, and I don't bet against streaks, I do like the Bears -1 at home. I'm not giving that out. But here's what I am going to tell you. Bet the over in this game because it's 42 points. Chicago will put up 33 in this game.
I agree with you. Definitely going over in that game, even though I just touted all the unders. I'm staying away from that one because I do think I think Justin Fields is going to have a really good year. They've got him some weapons now. He understands the game a little bit better. I'm not a big believer in Jordan Love. In the Packers in this regard. So yeah, I do like the Bears, and I'll definitely take that one over for sure. All right, let's get to the meat, man. Let's get to the Bucs.
Hang on. If you're taking the Bears, is that with a mini Ditka or a big Ditka?
Well, I have a big Ditka. So,
okay, you got a big Ditka.
Big Ditka.
So,
as always, if you had a small Ditka, sorry for you.
65-0. Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
65-0. Bears. Not only Dick is going to coach, he's going to get another win on this coach, and he's going to have 2 touchdowns receiving.
Take Peter?
That to the bank.
You see, Peter? Look, I can even do it to JP. I get him on till 2. You see? How about it? We ad-lib even here. Everywhere I go, I take the host and make him go.
And give me tree brats.
And tree brats.
A couple of old styles, and we're good.
Buddy, let me tell you something. For those of you that have never had an old style beer, get one ice cold out of draft. It's really good. Tomorrow you'll regret it.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's awful. It's awful. Yeah,
it's a Hellman beer.
You'll be running more than Rashad White in week 1.
How about it, guys?
Barcelona plane ride. Yeah, that's what old style do to you.
Let's talk about the muscles of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's getting no love.
None.
Yes.
They're getting no love at Minnesota. At mine, they're getting 6 points. Some books still have this team at 6.5, and I'm going to stand by my laurels. You're going to find some books, if you really search out there, you'll get them up to 7 by game time. Mark my words, it's still going to happen.
Wow, that's a big move. I'm going to play. I'm going to play the Buccaneers and the 6 points here anyway. But yeah, if you can get it at 7, that's just huge insurance. I listen. I may be fooled by this Buccaneers team. The Vikings, they've moved on. They had a great offense last year, but Dalvin Cook was a huge part of it. Alexander Madison may be a good back, but he ain't Dalvin Cook.
He's not Dalvin Cook.
No, he's not Dalvin Cook, and that's what made that offense go. So now look, Justin Jefferson is, what more can you say about him? And I love Kirk Cousins. He's a good player. But that run game set up everything for them last year.
Well,
and without Dalvin,
I got a bar from my garbage can. Did you just say Kirk Cousins a good? Oh, hang on.
Come on, bro. Look at the numbers.
I know.
Look at the numbers.
He's so JP. Respectfully, I am going to disagree with you here. This guy couldn't win a big game if it was given to him. That's the problem. It is. I know it's unfair, and he throws such a nice deep ball. And I don't know if it's his skill set or if it's luck, but I will give him a break. I think he's just had very bad luck. It's been bad timing, and I feel bad.
I didn't say great. I said good. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I didn't say great.
He's going to cut down on the interceptions. 29 and 14 last year. He's definitely going to cut down on it. But, in big game situations, they got offense there, but it's kind of a question mark. Besides Jefferson, who else is there? KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison. You don't have Dalvin Cook. I mean, is this a game where you look at it and you go over or under at this point because the Vikings defense is not that good, and maybe the Bucs offense can put some points on the board? What do you say with that?
I got to tell you, man, we're going to go back to one thing, and it was unfair to call him a bad quarterback, but he is going to throw more interceptions this year, primarily because of the reason he doesn't have that security blanket in arguably a top 5 running back in the National Football League who decided that they didn't want to pay him for some reason. Madison is not Dalvin Cook, not even in the same zip code. He doesn't receive like him. He doesn't run like him. He doesn't block like him. Well, that's not fair. Madison is he's a really good pass protector. But without having that special talent, it's really going to hamper his ability to throw the ball with consistency without throwing it to the other team. Minnesota's problem is going to be the same problem as it was last year. They're very suspect at defense. Their corners, Harrison Smith, he's getting older. People are trying to tell me, he had 5 interceptions last year. That's because people are having to pass against this team. He's a phony. He's not that kind of DB. Show me a team that runs a football, and you give me a DB that has 5 or 6 picks, and I'll show you a better player. Tampa Bay will not have a problem scoring in this game. I'm not ready to give everybody and say, take the points, take the points. The safe bet here is bet over the 45, mortgage the house on it, because that's my lock of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the lock of the week is over 45.5. I like that. I may get a little parlay going here with the Bucs and the over on this one.
Yep.
And by the way, the money line, what do you got it at? Plus 215 for the Buccaneers?
It's plus 230 to 260 in some spots. Okay.
Wow.
And don't be surprised that
my
Tampa
book is cheating me.
Do me a favor. If you have to bet the Bucs in this game, don't take the points. Because if they're going to be in this game, and if they do exactly what I think they're going to do, and they get some lucky breaks on defense, they could win this game outright. Okay? Just like Dallas did against the Bucs last year, and they could have won that game. If you really think about it, it's the same exact scenario. They have no respect for this Buccaneer team going into Minnesota this week. The national media has completely made them insignificant.
There's a lot of people that are going to pick the Vikings in their survival pool week 1.
Absolutely.
They may be. Remember last year, everybody on week 1, we had 5 or 6 major upsets, and survival pools were on life support all around the league. I think this might be one of them. So
it can't.
All right, Harry. Any more good spots you got? As we close it out here.
Games to take interest in. Buffalo to New York Jets. The Jets are getting 2.5 points. Money line. Remember, home underdogs. You want to bet home underdogs. You won't win, especially in baseball, if you continue to bet road favorites. But in NFL, trust me, home underdogs,
you like the
play
Jets.
A lot better. I do like the Jets in game 1. And here's another one. Money line. They're getting 4 points. The New York Giants against the vaunted Dallas Cowboys. Bye-bye, Dallas. New York wins this game as well.
Wow.
It's on the money line. Okay. All right, Harry the Greek, you heard it here. We will we'll have you back.
I'll watch. I'll go 0-20 this week.
But then you'll be 20-0 the next week.
Who knows?
Just
JP,
keep on betting.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on. Peter Blake, seriously,
That's
as always, JP, you're awesome. We'll talk to you guys later.
Back at you, partner. Good stuff. All right, we will take another break. When we come back, it's the G's Law Group Gator Report with our good friend Scott Carter. Gator Nation is in free fall. You're freaking out over week 1. Calm down. It wasn't that bad. Well, it was bad, but it's not going to be that bad all year. We'll talk some Gator football when we come back at the G's Law Group Gator Report with Scott Carter. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
Alrighty, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show for our second hour, and let's jump right into it with our Florida Gators report, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, bringing our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. He's made it back from Utah. How are you, my friend? How was the trip? Sans the game?
Well, the trip was long. The game was not very good, as you guys know.
Yeah.
That Gators, obviously not the way they envisioned opening the season. I don't think the loss is the thing that's gotten most people. It's just some of the procedural mistakes. I mean, non-penalties, 45 yards. Obviously, not the kind of clean performance that you kind of expect. I mean, the season opener can always make a team look a little rusty, but I think the one that really stood out was the 2 players in number 3. That's one of those kind of mistakes that can stick with you. a little bit until you clean some things up. And that's kind of what the week's been like here in Gainesville. Billy Napier's answered a lot of questions about what went wrong and how they're going to fix it. And now they finally get another chance on Saturday to go out in there and play a game and hopefully correct some of those mistakes.
Do you
Did
think
you
a
get
lot
an
of those?
explanation for the sorry, P? I just want to follow up on this real quick. Did you get an explanation on the two number threes? What happened? Was that a player deal, a coach deal?
Well, I mean, I think it's a lack of communication. That was the answer, and it was a thing where Eugene Wilson, the freshman, he changed the number 3 like the last week of camp. He was wearing 21.
Oh,
And anyway, he went out there, and they have a safe punt for one of the guys to return. And then they have a return where they want to try to do something. And somewhere things got miscommunicated. Both guys were out there. They got penalized. They kept alive a drive that Utah took advantage of. They turned a 7-3 game into a 14-3 game, and just never felt the same kind of game after that.
Do you think Napier has been able to handle the criticism this week? Because you look at it, penalty situation, third downs. I mean, a lot of mental mistakes right before the snap there, and that's usually on coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's handled it as well as you can. I mean, every coach that comes into a new program, there's moments where people start saying, well, the honeymoon's over. I felt this week was almost like one of those weeks. I mean, I don't think anybody expected the Gators to go 10-2 or 12-0 and compete for a championship this year. But with everything that he's done off the field to restructure the program and to bring it more up to date, and he is an attention to detail guy. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, he's a guy who has a plan and is very methodical in working to enforce that plan. So when you have those kind of issues, it catches people off guard. So I think he's been battling a perception issue as much as just the loss, and he's answered that this week. I mean, he answered it again last night. When we met with him after practice, he says, "Look, the criticism is justified. We didn't coach as well as we should have. We didn't play as well as we should have. And the only way you really kind of get people back into your fold is go out and win some games." And I think that's where they are right now.
Scott Carter joining us here from FloridaGators.com, where your notes column I thought was really interesting in terms of some of the numbers that Graham Mertz put up. I mean, 31 of 44, only the fourth quarterback in school history to throw for 300 yards, 30 completions, and 70%. One touchdown, one pick, which I feel was not his fault. Pearson, to me, has got to get his head around quicker and make the adjustment to the throw. It wasn't a bad throw, in my opinion. If I have to put that on anybody, it's Pearson. So I thought he played okay. Look, he's not Anthony Richardson, and that's the biggest deal. He gets sacked 5 times. Everybody's losing their mind. But I thought he distributed the ball pretty damn well and didn't play poorly in what is it was a tough atmosphere. What are your thoughts on how he played?
Yeah, I mean, Graham Mertz was certainly not the problem for the Gators. I thought he handled everything well. Coach Napier afterwards said he did what we wanted to do, what we want him to do. He took care of the ball. The play you're mentioning, it was one of those timing patterns where you got to be in sync, and the ball got there a little bit before Pearsall turned around. And what really cost some guys was it was inside the 20-yard line. So Utah took over and got a short field, and they converted. But I thought Graham Mertz stayed composed. He was really classy after the game. You could tell this guy's been around. He knows how to respond after a disappointing game like that. And again, it wasn't on him. It was just a lot of things around him didn't go right. But overall, I mean, for him to go out there and throw for 333 yards and really keep at least the Gators in the game, I thought that was a nice debut for him. And now he'll get a chance to play in front of the home fans, and it should have a little easier go of it offensively on Saturday.
Do you think one of the turning points of the game is when they're trying to go for 4th and 1 and you pick up a penalty and now you're basically 4th and 6, and then the very next play you miss the field goal, kind of the air goes out of the balloon at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, there were several moments in that game, guys, that it felt like that. That's why I think the loss has kind of stirred up Gator fans a little bit this week. We talked on this show and other shows I've been on. I mean, it's like in my view, I kind of look. I've told you guys, I look at this season as it's a 6-6 rebuilding year in my eyes. But if they play better in a couple of games, they could be an 8. Who knows? Maybe a 9-win team. But I can also see them if they struggle. Maybe 5 or 6 wins. So that performance, the loss really didn't surprise me. I mean, Utah is a top 25 team. It's on the road.
Right.
We all know the story now. The Gators had to leave a day early, fly to Texas and Utah. So there were a lot of external factors out of their control. What really irked fans and Coach Napier and the players was there was a lot of internal factors that also they didn't handle very well. So they're trying to get a hold of those, as coaches like to say, guys, controllables, and take care of them this week when McNeese comes to town.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest surprise to me was lack of a ground game for the Gators. That shocked me. What do you think was the issue there?
Well, I think it's multifaceted. I mean, Utah, I think, did a nice job early stopping the run, and then they got the lead, and then Florida turned to the air more. I mean, I don't think anybody on that sideline for Florida wants to see Graham Mertz have to throw 44 times a game.
Right.
But that's how that game played out. And then you get behind early, guys, and it just changes the complexion of the game. And I think they got away from it. Billy has said this week, in retrospect, maybe we should have tried to stick with that running game a little more, because I think we all know for Florida to be a good offensive team, they're going to have Montreal Johnson Jr. and Trevor Etienne really to play a huge role and not make Mertz throw 44 times a game. So there's a different factors, but that was not an ideal offensive balance for the Gators in game one.
Scott Carter joining us here, FloridaGators.com. All right, so McNeese State comes in here. Here comes the Cowboys. Are they McNeese State anymore or just McNeese now?
I think
they dropped the state?
Yeah, I think they're just going with McNeese. So, I'm like you guys. I still remember them as McNeese State.
Of
so
course.
It's taking me a little time to adjust, guys.
Yeah, I don't think we have to adjust. We're still I don't even know who's in what conference anymore, how many teams are in every conference. I'm still thoroughly confused by all of it, but we didn't have to change every year to memorize the conference back in the old days. But I sound like an old head, but McNeese comes in. It's a home game. This is a get-right game. What are you expecting out of this?
I kind of expect the Gators to get right, to use your words.
Yeah.
I think that they will go out. I think they're a little ticked off this week at themselves more than anything else. I think that, they obviously have a deeper roster, a better roster than McNeese. And McNeese, guys, lost to something called Carleton last week. I haven't even looked that up. So they lost 52-34 last week.
Oh, my God.
So I expect –
they lost to a doorman from an old sitcom?
Yes.
My God. That's crazy.
I expect them to handle this one with ease and hopefully get some style points and get some momentum back on their side. And it's, again, it's just one of those games where they need to go out and force their will and make sure that they have a clean performance and get some things right, because guess what? Tennessee is coming to town. So, it's going to be a tough test right away.
Yeah, they look good in their opener. It's more I looked at some of the numbers in this game, though. Like Utah only had 270 yards of total offense and were 3 for 13 on third down. The Gator defense didn't play terrible football.
No, I mean, there are some positives out there for those people who really kind of understand what the program is.
Yeah.
First of all, we'll start with that defense. The 270 yards allowed. You got to remember, 70 of that came on the first play that Utah ran.
Great point.
They only held one opponent to less than 270 all of last season. So that's a positive sign. And the biggest positive sign I take out of it, guys, is they played 14 true freshmen. And some of these guys look like they're part of the future. To me, that's the most important development for the Gators this season. You've got to play a lot of young players who Billy Napier has brought in that he sees as part of a winning culture in the future. And you got to let those guys be a part of it now so they get that experience. And I think to play 14 of those guys, they started Jordan Castell at safety. Eugene Wilson III, the kid from Tampa, played right away. There were others, Jake Slaughter up front at center in place of Kingsley Guakin. So, they've got a lot of young players in there. They had, I think, 22 newcomers overall, including the transfers. And I think that's a good sign for Florida. And I think if they can just continue to get some production out of those guys and get them experience, I think that bodes well for the future.
Hey, you mentioned the center. Is he back this week?
No, Guakin, I think he's still going to be sidelined. So, the offensive line was an issue against, they gave up 5 sacks. And, that was a game where those 5 guys had never played together before. So you're going to have some issues with cohesiveness up there. I think that will get better. I think you're expecting Lindell Hudson back this week. He was out. He's got the most experience, a former player at FIU. So they've got some bodies there that will come back. But as far as right now, I don't expect Guakin to play unless it's he recovered well late in the week.
Yeah, and maybe for Tennessee, they'll need him for that for sure.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big plus for him.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always. Go to FloridaGators.com to get all Scott's content right there. Any other things we need to know?
I think the mood up here in Gainesville, JP, is just go beat McNeese.
Yeah.
Flush last week. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? It's one of those weeks where Gator fans just haven't been happy. I've gotten my share of emails. I can only imagine some others. It's just the nature of the beast. But I do think the big picture, the loss itself is not alarming. Just the way it happened. And now go out and start cleaning some things up. And they should be okay. But we get our first glance Saturday. Let's see how it looks.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time as always. FloridaGators.com. Scott Carter. It's our Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. Thanks, Scott.
See you guys.
Yeah, that Gator defense played well. They played well. I know Cam Rising wasn't starting for Utah, but they still had some, impressive players over there. It was just when you have that many critical mistakes. You mentioned the 4th down play. There was another 3rd and 1 early in the game when they had an illegal procedure, false start penalty. I mean, those are killers. You get first downs there. You're already in the scoring zone. You get points. It's a game changer. The Pearson interception, again, was a huge one, obviously, led to points. The 2 number 3s led to a touchdown. Everything they did wrong bit them in the ass. So I'm not here to make apologies for the Gators, but that was going to be a tough game any way you slice it at Utah. They've won 15 straight home openers. Tough place to play. Young, we called this going in. I said this is going to be a tough spot for the Gators, a very young team, and it was. So I expect. I mean, obviously they're going to beat McNeese this week, but when Tennessee rolls in, then we're going to find out a little bit more. We'll find out a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's when you got to clean it up. That's when you can't have those critical penalties at critical time because it stills the momentum and it drives the coaching staff crazy, especially when it's 4th and 1 and now it's 4th and 6. And it basically changes what you can do out of that playbook.
Yeah, that's exactly where they were in this game. So, listen, I expect them again. I'm right with Scott on this. It's a 6-6 football team. It could go, a game either way, depending on how they play. And this is about building for the future. So look at your young guys, see how they're playing, and that's what you got to take from it. Florida State went through the same damn thing. It's cyclical, folks. Billy Napier's recruiting great. That's what you got him there for. Let him get his players in, and then you can judge him. That sloppiness, from a coaching standpoint, do you like to see it? Hell no. But again, young players, tough environment. It's going to happen. They'll grow from this, and that's all you can ask for. So in a season like this,
I think I'm more about the offensive line. Honestly, that's probably the biggest thing because, like he said, you've got to have that gel, and it's 5 players that haven't played together before. So, what's the impact on that quarterback? We talked about it. Mertz has already suffered a lot of sacks from Wisconsin. 3 years, 48 sacks. Kid can take a pounding. We'll see how much of a pounding he can take, and what's the impact. So.
All right, we will take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll talk a little Buccaneers as Baker Mayfield chatted with the media yesterday. We'll hear from Baker and more when we come back. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Have those folks go ahead and shop your insurance around. Your homeowner's insurance has gone up. I know that. your auto, everything's going up. So have them shop it around. They saved me $1,000. So they do all the work, folks. You get all the benefits. That's an easy way to go from, and they get great customer service. You're not going to get in some horrible voicemail hell. An actual human being will answer the phone and get you to somebody that will actually help you. As for Charity, she did a great job with my auto insurance. 813-877-7799 at italianoinsurance.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. Happening at the Patio, the most unique sports bar in South Tampa. Come watch football in a tropical paradise beneath the trees and stars. We have all the NFL and sports packages, and we always have the big fights, UFC and boxing. Mondays, it's Tullamore Dew Trivia with $4 Tullamore whiskey and trivia prizes, plus, of course, Monday Night Football. Wednesday night, it's karaoke night. Get your song on. 9 to midnight with DJ Will and Mulatto. And Thursdays through Sunday, it's your football headquarters. Happy hour weekdays 3 to 7:30 with $1 off all beers and wine and $4 White Claw vodka drinks and seltzers. And join us for our live broadcast 5 to 7 Football Fridays, big happy hour. You can join the show with the fan mic, and we'll have swag giveaways and tickets. So watch football in a tropical paradise. It's the Patio, 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm Peter Blake, along with Mr. JP Peterson. How you doing, buddy? Ready for tonight's game?
Damn right I am. I'm ready for some Bucs football is what I'm ready for, Dad.
Yes, absolutely.
So Baker met the media yesterday.
He did, absolutely.
Very confident in his skill. I want to read some comments here from our friend James.
Okay.
Who is very, I'll say, not bullish on the Bucs this week.
No, he's not. He's not very bullish on them. Yeah, lots of.
But I think he makes a lot of good points, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Said the depth is a huge problem for the Bucs. You know, Carlton Jamel will miss at least 2 games. That's the issue. That's why Bucs will probably have a tough time winning 8 or 9 games. That's true, but every team in this league has depth issues. It may be a little bit more pronounced because the depth behind in this Bucs teams is young. And we don't know how good they are, to be quite honest, because they're so young. And some might be good, some might be bad, but again, it's not experience depth. That's for damn sure. Have they ever not missed games? It never happened. So that's why I'm not as solid on a quick turnaround. If they keep blowing high picks like JTS and Logan Hall, it will be a problem. I'm not saying that they're trending in the right direction, but I think I think calling JTS and Logan Hall busts right now is extremely premature. And he says, you're fooled a little bit, JP. Our first rounder is out, right side of the O line. So if the D doesn't play like Dallas game one last year, Bucs will have a problem Sunday. Yeah, listen, the Bucs aren't perfect, but neither are the Vikings. So no. I'm not saying the Bucs could go out and beat the Eagles or the Chiefs this week, but I think the Vikings were a little bit of fool's gold last year with all the one-score games. What were they, 11-0 in one-score games last year? That's going to regress, no question about it.
Right.
Kalijah Kancey, I expect him to make an impact this year. Did I expect him to have 3 sacks in week 1? No. So Logan Hall needs to step up. There's no question about it. JTS needs to step up. They got Shaq Barrett back on the defense, who looked really good. I would have liked to have seen this offensive line play more than 2 series together to get a better feel for how they're going to play in this game. So I would agree with you. I'm still have a huge question mark on the right side of the offensive line. And they got Danielle Hunter coming off that side and Davenport, who they got from the Saints. I mean, those guys, they're going to wreck that side. You're going to have to definitely keep a tight end there or a running back on almost every single passing play. Those 2 guys are one-on-one. That's going to be a problem. So, look, I don't – but don't forget this. The Bucs are 6-point underdogs. I'll take those points every day of the week in a game like this. So we'll see. We'll see. The Vikings O-line, not great. Defensively, they were 31st last year. They'll get some guys back. I get it, but I'm not putting them in the steel curtain hall just yet. So
no. And even though you change your defensive coordinator, doesn't necessarily mean you have the horses to run that defense. That's what it comes down to. But you're exactly right. Hunter on that right side, that'll be the matchup to watch, especially that right side with the rookie and of course Gedeke, who's at times during the preseason looked like a rookie. We'll see.
Looked good, but he looked good too at times. He did. I just needed to see more. And for the life of me, I don't know how you can evaluate a team going into the regular season. I know there's practice, and I get all that, but you're practicing against yourself. I want to evaluate my team in the preseason against another team, get a nice sample size, so I go into this with a game plan. I mean, if they go out there with a game plan, hey, we're going to run the football, and they find out that the right side can't block anybody, you're screwed. You're screwed. Now what do you do? Yeah. If your game plan is for X, Y, and Z, and you find out those guys can't do X, Y, and Z in a real game against a real team, and you could have got a little bit more information to find that out. So, yeah, I'm talking myself out of betting on the Bucs now, right? All right. Let's hear from Baker Mayfield. Let's get a little Baker Mayfield in here today.
All right, here we go.
Baker's bacon.
I guess the first question is, how excited are you? It's finally here. Yeah. It's what you work all year for.
Is that Rock
real
Riley
finally
with
here,
how
so
excited question? Come on.
We're ready to finally go out and play somebody else for real and just see all the things that we've been working on. See how it comes to life, all the little details, all the off-season workouts, the foundational stuff that we've been trying to get installed, and just to see how it plays out and just to see how guys handle it throughout the game. It's football. It's the highest level you can play at, so there's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs during the game, and so we're built to handle that adversity, and so I'm excited to see how we do.
Working with Dave Canales for the last few months, what has he meant to you the most? Where has he helped you in your game the most, do you think?
I mean, his mindset, he's so positive. It's just the next step mentality. Next play, make it the best one. Even if it's just a simple handoff where we're not doing anything besides carrying out a fake, make it your best one. And just that mindset to, give it an absolute 100% each time. It's refreshing to, even though it might be an off play for us to, we still carry a weight in it. There's still a factor in it, so do your business. And so he's so fresh, and that mindset's awesome.
Have you seen a progress then in your game specifically where you maybe elevated where you've played in the past?
Yeah, I think, there's times where you overthink things. You can harp on the last play. The most important one's always the next one. I say that, but it's easier said than done, and Dave truly lives by that. So it's a refreshing thing to have in the room.
Coach Canales had said that for him having an aha moment when he was like, yes, this is it. Like, this guy, Baker, like he's our starter, was after that first preseason game. I guess there was an indoor practice, and I guess you hit this beautiful deep ball to Mike Evans. Did you feel that then, or when did you maybe, if you did have a moment where you're like, I've got this, and...
I think throughout camp, I think it was a great battle, to be honest with you. So I don't think I had one of those moments. It was, the next day mentality of, all right, I got to bring my A game, because our whole room was extremely competitive. And so just trying to do that each day. I don't think it was one play. And for them, they're looking at it from a different perspective. But yeah, it's always fun to get in there and throw a deep ball to Mike. He makes your life easy.
Was there a moment for you at all when you felt like, you were able to, I guess, make this offense your own?
Yeah, I think the command of it, once we got into that Jets week, it really started to see all the little checks at the line of scrimmage. We had the whole foundation, and now it's about adapting to what the defense is giving you. And from there, I think just took control of it. And so I think you guys saw a little bit of it when Dave started getting on a roll in that last preseason game. And so we kind of saw what our offense is supposed to be, just getting the ball out, taking care of it. And that's when I really felt it.
Has your mental approach changed at all going into this week for week 1 versus like other years when you were the starter compared to now?
To be honest, every year is different. In this one for me, it's had the whole offseason to work with this group, new offense for everybody. I've worked similar offense in the past, so just trying to learn and not act like I have it figured out each day. So for me, it's now going into year 6. So act like I've been here, but also still have a young mindset. I always have room to grow and learn, but also take command of it. Be a leader and just show that instead of just focus on the game plan only. Yeah, I have to do my job, but also bring everybody else along at the same time.
Baker, you guys are prohibitive underdogs this week, going into a very difficult place to play. I gather you relish that kind of challenge.
Yeah, I think anytime you go on the road, it's a special opportunity, especially in that environment. Only played there once, but their crowd is awesome. The stadium's great, and going up against a good team. Defensively, they've been good in the past, and so we're looking forward to a new challenge with Flores calling it. And so, yeah, you look forward to the challenge of all the pressures, the crowd noise, and all the different variables that they're going to throw at you. And it's just something about just your team. It's your guys only in that stadium against theirs. And so, yeah, it's always special.
You remember about that game 2 years ago. I know you guys won, but
yeah.
Todd said he's never been in that place. I know they have that skull chant. Is it that tough to play?
Yeah, I mean, the skull chant's awesome. It's kind of one of those traditions that you kind of look around and you enjoy it as an away team. But they're extremely loud on third down and when you're backed up in the red zone or close up about to score. So it's just a fun environment to play in. And those are things that you always look back, and it's one of those football moments that you truly enjoy as being an opponent.
All right, let's we'll do it. We'll take it from there, Pete.
Okay.
Yeah, I love his mindset. His mindset. This dude's been there before, man. As much as I know, we got a lot of Kyle Trask honks out there, but this dude has been there and he's done it. I'm so glad that he's the starter going into this game. He may not be the starter the entire year. We'll see how it goes. He'll get nicked up because of the way he plays. Kyle, I think, will get his chance, but Baker's the focus right now. He's the focus, and I'm glad. If you're a Buccaneer fan, you should be given to where the Bucs are right now. I mean, could you have Derek Carr and feel better about it? There are people like Harry and other people in the know in the NFL that say Derek's got issues. He's injured. He can't throw like he used to throw. He can't move like he used to move. He can't throw to his right. There are some. There are issues with him, and they've committed a lot of money to him, and he's not, he's never done anything in the postseason. Baker's won a playoff game. Let's, yeah, I think the Saints have a more experienced quarterback who's done some things in this league. There's no question about it, but I like where the Bucs are with Baker Mayfield. I like how this offense fits him. I like his weapons. The offensive line is still a question mark. I want to see them be able to run the football, but we'll see. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, James Ludeman's going to join us from the All Things SEC podcast. We'll talk a little SEC football. We do a lot of college football here. We talked a little Gators. What the hell's going on in the SEC? They were the ACC's bitch this week. That's right. I said it, James Ludeman. I'm looking at you in backstage. We'll see how this one goes down next. Stay with us.
Just begun.
It's the board Mortgage Guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Back to the JP Peterson show here as we roll on this Thursday. It's opening night for the NFL, but you know we love to talk college football. Brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. Great folks over there. Bring your old coins, watches, whatever you got, old jewelry, and they will give you cash money. That's, you know where to find them, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, let's bring in our good friend James Ludeman. You see him commenting all the time. He also has a great SEC podcast, All Things SEC. What's going on, James? How are you, buddy?
Good morning, fellas. How we doing today?
Doing great.
Well, we're doing great now that the North Carolina took care of South Carolina and FSU smoked LSU. Those games weren't close, brother. That was an ACC ass whooping on the SEC this week. All things SEC. What do you guys? Are you all as bad a honk as my man Peter Burns, who said Florida State's got no chance? Mike Norvell can't coach his way out of a paper bag. Come on, it's not even a matchup.
I will not go that extreme. The extreme that I will go to is I thought LSU had a good shot to win this game. I didn't see it being what it turned into whatsoever for either team, to be quite honest with you. Because here's the thing, like LSU Florida State, they played last year. It was a very close game, right? So you assumed that it was going to be kind of the same thing, right? So for me, when it was 17-14 at halftime, I said, all right, well, Florida State looks like they're still in control, even though they're down in this game. It's wild. Like, you watch the first half, you see what they're doing. They're controlling the pace of play for the most part. And you look at it and go, one play can change the whole outcome of this game. So for me, I look at this game and go, it's not really a shock of what Florida State did as much as it was a shock of LSU just laying an egg. I mean, they just came out flat. Just not a good second half start, and it was very difficult. And if you're an LSU fan, you're sitting here now going, well, now what do we do? Because we've basically been exposed. So wild game there, Peter. And I start talking about this stuff, and of course JP leaves because he knows I'm right. But no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're having some Wi-Fi problems, so I'll go ahead and take it from here.
It's probably Spectrum, just to be transparent with you.
Probably is. I mean, what do you think? What's your whole take on that situation? Because you do it before, and every Florida Gator fan is just like, what is going on? College football is opening up, and you do it at that time. I mean, what's your thoughts on that whole situation?
So I was watching the game Thursday night, and I had ESPN on my TV, and it was 5 minutes before the game started, and I was doing good. Mm-hmm. I look over at the clock, and it was 6:59, and I'm in Central Time, so it was, however that works there, 7:59 Eastern Time. So I look over, and next thing I know, I look back at the TV, it's black. I get ticked thinking my TV's broken. Yeah. Like there was no message right away. It was just a black screen. So when you look at it, I'm sitting here like restarting my TV, restarting my streaming service, trying to figure out what in the world is going on. I pull up my phone to try to pull up the app that way, couldn't get it that way. And then my wife goes into our bedroom and turns it on, and there's the message that they couldn't get a deal done. And I was just in shock, because this is really the first game outside of, again, Vanderbilt already playing a game previously that weekend, but this is the first real college football game, no offense to Vanderbilt, that took place. And you're doing it in front of a national audience. So it was a very wild situation. I know there were several. I have several older folks who I know who just do the cable thing. They don't do streaming. And they came on and just said that it was very disappointing that they weren't able to see that game and games on Saturday, by the way. It was not just the Thursday night games that were affected. It was Saturday as well. You couldn't watch College Game Day. You couldn't watch anything on ESPN. And there was a lot of really good games, including that Colorado TCU game that was on ESPN that you couldn't watch because it was shut down. So I don't know what Spectrum and Disney are going to do. I mean, this is not a good look. I mean, this helps people like YouTube TV and all these Fubo or whatever it is, all these other streaming services, and that's really what it does for them. It didn't help Spectrum or Disney at all.
Yeah, I'm back, by the way.
Yes, we see
it. I blame you know who? Spectrum.
That's what I just said too. I said when you left, I was like, I bet you has Shut up! I was like, I bet you has Spectrum internet.
Yeah, and I'm plugged in. I'm not even on Wi-Fi, but the internet here just goes out like 5 times a day. Just goes out.
I have that problem too.
This guy sucks. Spectrum sucks. You know what? I think I'm going to go to Starlink. Starlink, we can get that anywhere. I think in Florida it's available too, everywhere, because it comes from space.
I got to look into that. I definitely got to look into that. Yeah, save some.
Well, I got to look into it, because this is going to keep happening.
Yeah.
I missed some of your conversation, but if we're just bitching about Spectrum and Disney, I'm all down on all fronts. We can definitely agree on that. What did you think of the LSU FSU game? I thought it went down pretty much the way I thought it would, because I thought FSU was the better team last year. They were clearly the better team this year. I think LSU is still a very good football team. Jaden Daniels is outstanding. They just are not quite where FSU is right now.
Yeah, it was really shocking to me, and I was telling Peter this while you were dealing with the internet stuff, but it was shocking to me how flat LSU was in the second half of the game. Like the first half, they competed, they had the lead. I still thought Florida State was the better team in the first half. They controlled more of the clock, they controlled more of the pace of play, and you got to give credit where it's due. Right now, I'm obviously, I'm not the biggest Florida State guy, but I was very impressed with what they were able to do against an LSU team, by the way, who won the SEC West last year, is still, by the way, able to win the SEC West this year. In the last season of divisions in the SEC, because the divisions will be no more after this year. Starting next year, they will take the top 2 teams. So and to go to Atlanta to win, to play for the SEC championship. So yeah, but in this game specifically, I mean, you look at what LSU just fell apart in the second half, and listen, for their credit, Florida State came in as a team with a lot of expectations. I heard you say that numerous times watching your show, and it's very true. I mean, the expectation was very high for Florida State and for LSU for that matter.
Yeah.
I heard people on this broadcast say this could be and technically it still could be. You could be looking at a first-round matchup in the college football playoff, and I still think that's a possibility. If FSU wins out and goes to the playoff, maybe. If LSU will obviously have to win out in order to even be considered for that. I mean, 2-loss teams rarely make it.
Nobody has yet.
Nobody has. So again, both of these teams are in a good spot still, despite LSU losing. They're still in a good spot to win the SEC. But Florida State, man, and credit to the ACC, it was just a great weekend. I mean, you look at what North Carolina did to South Carolina, just carved them up.
Yep.
You look at what Duke did to Clemson. To be honest with you, I didn't see that coming.
No, not like that.
Clemson, no, that was embarrassing if you're Dabo. And I've been sitting here screaming, Dabo is going to be the next coach at the University of Alabama when Nick Saban's done. I still believe that's the case. But man, he did not look good.
Well, listen, until he starts embracing NIL and the transfer portal, Alabama will have nothing to do with him. I mean, that's just bananas. It just, you know what happened to the dinosaurs, right? I hope he understands that. You either evolve or you're extinct. And right now, he looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not even that, more like a Brontosaurus, no teeth. Yeah, but Clemson looked bad. As an FSU fan, and I look, I'm like, wow, we got to go to Clemson. I'm like, okay, all right. And I don't, and then I was like, we'll probably have to beat them twice. They're not making it to the ACC championship game. I got news for you. That'll probably be FSU and North Carolina, who don't play this year in the regular season, so that would work out well. But you're all things SEC. So let's and there'll be there's a showdown this week, Texas A&M and Miami, another ACC SEC. Miami is not back in my estimation yet. I don't know what they have this year. Week 1, they played FAMU, I think. Not sure who they played.
Yeah.
FAMU's not bad, but I think they might beat USF this week. We'll see. But this is an interesting game. Jimbo's not calling the offense anymore. Year 2 with Mario Cristobal at Miami. Van Dyke says he's healthier this year. What do you think of this game?
Texas A&M is one of those teams that has super high expectations and is yet to reach that reality.
Right.
It's unfortunate because, and you know what? Again, not a Florida State guy, but I do like Jimbo Fisher. I think he is a good coach. I really do. I believe that, and I know he gets a lot of flack for how things ended with Florida State, and I totally get it. But for me, this is the year for Jimbo Fisher. If it's going to be any time, it's going to be this year, right? Because we have had these expectations of Texas A&M. Well, they're high scoring. They're high powered. They got good defenses. This year, the same way. I mean, they have a very, very good team that's lined up there and trying to get in position to win the SEC. So in this game, I'm not expecting much out of Miami either, to be honest. And even just I looked at some highlights from Miami's game against FAMU. Nothing really stood out that was super impressive to me. I think obviously A&M wins this game pretty easily. I don't see it a big problem. Their offense clicked last week. Now, again, this is the problem with college football, and this is what I don't like about it sometimes, is that you're basing how good a team is based on who they beat. Right. So we're looking at Ole Miss, by the way, who put 73 up on, I believe it was McNeese State. I mean, you're not going to know how good any of these teams actually are until they start playing teams that actually mean something, right?
Right.
So same thing with LSU. Like, we assumed LSU was going to be super good, and I still think they are, but they ran into a buzzsaw with a team that's better than them. And this week, Alabama's got Texas. That's the big matchup that I'm looking forward to because people are riding this Texas train, and I don't know why. That it makes no sense to me. Listen, Nick Saban's the greatest coach in college football history. I don't think you can argue that.
No.
7 national championships. He's got a good team to do it. I mean, they have a national championship team. The only question mark has been the quarterback position, right?
Yeah.
So Jalen Milroe comes in and is the first Alabama player in history to go for three passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns over Bryce Young, over Mac Jones, over Jalen Hurts, over Tua. I mean, that's impressive. Like, no matter how you scoop it up, all 4 of those guys, by the way, are starters in the National Football League.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's impressive in its own, and they may have found their guy in Jalen Milroe, and I'm impressed with that. But, yeah, it's hard to gauge. Going back to the A&M thing quickly, it's hard to gauge when you play teams that are just not on your level.
Yeah.
And that's hard to see. But we do begin SEC play. Next week, a few of the teams are going to be playing. I know Tennessee, Florida is next week. That's going to be a huge game at home at the Swamp. And listen, for all of those people, by the way, and we haven't talked about Florida, for all those people that want to down Florida, I just want you to know this. They held Utah to 3.6 rushing yards per carry.
Yeah.
And 162 yards total offense.
No, I think it was 270 total.
Or 270 total.
Yeah.
Even still.
170 on one play.
Right.
The first play of the game.
Exactly.
I thought the Gator defense played 3 for 13 on third down was Utah. I mean, Florida was worse. They were 1 for 13.
Florida was way well, and that's the difference.
Defensively,
right?
they played well. Yeah.
That's the difference. Is you get down twice within the 5, you miss a field goal, and you miss it on 4th down.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 2 plays that's a 10-point swing, and we're talking about if they lose this game, they lose by 3. That still gives people hope, right? You lose this game the way that they did with the penalties and things like that. They cleaned some of that stuff up. I'm with Scott. I think 7-8 wins is not out of the realm of possibility. So
that would be a great season for Florida.
It would be a fantastic season.
I think their fans' expectations are, they've had 2 losing seasons in a row, and they want, they expect it's not time for that. It's time to rebuild your program, and that takes a little bit of time. It doesn't take as much as it used to. See Colorado, see FSU, but the transfer portal can do amazing things, and players are going to want to transfer to Florida. He's got to win enough games to keep this recruiting class together, which I'm thinking is 6. You win 6 games, everybody knows you're rebuilding this recruiting class. They also, what these guys see? I can play right away. If you're winning 12 games, some recruits are like, look at the roster, and they may be blocked for a couple of years. At Florida, everything's wide open, so they're going to get their transfer port. It's what Florida State has done. They obviously have a great brand. You have great facilities, good foundation. You got a charismatic coach like Mike Norvell or Deion Sanders, and the players are going to come play for you. Now you got to put it all together and go out and win. And Mike Norvell's been able to do that. It's yet to be seen with Billy Napier, but he's won. He won at Louisiana. I think he's got a good system. He can recruit well. They've got great facilities there. They're in the SE freaking C. Come on, Gator fans, calm down. You're gonna be fine.
There's a new Chick-fil-A that's being built in our little town, which I'm super excited about. But you've got to trust the process of the Chick-fil-A being built. You can't just sit there and push construction. You got to make sure everything's together before you eat God's chicken, right? So you can't rush the process of this stuff, right? And I feel like people with Florida in particular are just so quick to try to push, and we got to be good now. We got to be good now, and I'm sorry, that's just not how it's going to happen. Yeah. So they've got pieces to build. You just have to trust the process and let it go as it will.
How close do you think this game is on Saturday between Alabama and Texas? Because I look at it, Alabama lost Anderson, they lost Bryce Young. I get it. They have a relative, unknown at the end of the day. Texas seems like, maybe this could be an upset the way they played Alabama last year. Do you see that, or do you see Alabama running away with this game?
Yeah, I think the game at home helps Alabama. If this were a road game, I would be very concerned. about this game, Peter, as a whole, but I like the atmosphere at Bryant-Denny Stadium. This is going to be the first big test for Jalen Milroe at quarterback, and that's what really, I don't want to say concerns me per se. It is a situation of a young quarterback coming in. This is your first top 15 type of matchup. They just moved from number 4 to number 3 in the polls. So there's a lot of added pressure, plus the game's on College game day. There's a lot to this game. And to be honest with you, I think the storyline of this game isn't so much this game in particular, but this is kind of the table setting for what's going to happen in the SEC. Texas and Oklahoma coming on board next year to the SEC. They'll be added into the craziness. And so this is kind of a preview of coming attractions, right? This was the preview last year. It was a close, tough game. And to be honest, if Texas starter doesn't get hurt during the game, I don't know if Alabama wins. And I said that even covering the team. I was like, if the starter was in, I may have looked a little bit different. But Agreed. To Texas's credit, they played well even with the backup. So I think the question mark here is going to be Jalen Milroe. Can he duplicate what he did against MTSU against a better Texas defense? And is he going to be able to handle the primetime type atmosphere that it's going to be? It's a night game in Alabama. It's the whole nation's going to be watching it because it's it's a preview of a rivalry that could happen. So I still like Alabama at home, though. I still favor them at home in this game. I don't think Texas is as good as they were last year. I thought last year they were very good, especially defensively. But I think it's going to be a close game. I'd say 7 or less. Okay. A touchdown or less could decide it, and I really think it could happen that way.
I've never been to a game at Bryant-Denny. I want to go. I may be going to the LSU game this year. That's to be determined.
Oh, do it.
So, man, I heard about some of the new and maybe some of the old traditions they have going there, and I saw a video. I'm trying to remember. They were singing some song this week. Was it what went viral this week at Bryant-Denny? Did you?
I didn't see that. I don't know. No,
yeah, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was Margaritaville or something. I don't
know.
Yeah.
They had everybody sing. The student section was singing Margaritaville. Well, they do that.
Jimmy Buffett,
So they do like the Sweet Home Alabama thing. They play that, of course.
That's awesome.
Dixieland Delight is the biggest song they do.
I love that. That's I'm gonna really
tell you,
good.
I went to LSU Alabama at home at Bryant-Denny. I did some work with ESPN doing, the guys who hold the little circular thing. I got to do that, and it was
parabolic
awesome.
Mics. Yeah.
Yes, and it was great. I learned a lot that day. But anyway, I have headphones that I'm wearing, right? And I took them off just for a few minutes just to kind of get the headphones off. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, I walked out of there and I walked into my house, and my wife starts talking. I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm just yelling, dude. It was so loud in that stadium. Like, college football is just
the best.
There's nothing like. I was a Bucs season ticket holder. There were some great moments, great games that I went to as a season ticket holder. But dude, there is nothing like college football. Like you can't. It's hard unless you go to Vanderbilt. They don't count because they're under construction right now anyway, so they can't even fit a bunch of people. But no, like that LSU game was absolutely. It was Ed Orgeron's last game, actually. The game that I went to. So it was
Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
But yeah, man,
I'm
college
glad
football.
you got your game, James Ludeman. I'm glad you got your game because that was one hell of a game. We had a hell of a cookout after that too. All them crawfish, that was fun. Go Tigers.
Oh my God!
All right, partner, tell everybody how they can get your podcast and your content.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just launched again the all things SEC. We are on Monday nights, 7:00 Central Time, so that's 8:00 Eastern Time. And we are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're also on the X or Twitter, whatever it is that we're calling it now. So we're on there as well. All of those are at All Things SEC, and we'll have folks like JP on and Peter. If you want to come jump in there too, come on down. We had Animal on with us last week to talk some Gator ball. So we're trying to build it out to where we can get reports from pretty much every team. So
nice.
This is something that obviously, you guys being in Florida, it's go Florida Gators, but things in Miami, stuff like that in the ACC. But I'd like to get every SEC team involved, and especially now that it's growing and Texas and Oklahoma joining the club. But I appreciate you allowing me to be on for a few minutes.
Man.
It's
Good
always
job.
good to shoot with you guys.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it. Thanks, and a loyal listener as well. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. This is some great games this weekend. Alabama, Texas, going to be great. If you've never been to a big time college football game, Peter, you said you've not been to an FSU game, right?
I've never been to an FSU game. No, I've been to the Swamp. I went to the Swamp last year for USF, which was crazy in itself, but I never been to Tallahassee. I need to get to Tallahassee, JP. We got to get there.
Yeah, and they're putting $275 million into the stadium. I'm like, they've been doing upgrades right and left, but they're going to take out some of the big seated sections and put in more premium seating because they're selling the hell out of the premium seating now. So stadiums now are going to come down. Total seating's coming down, and then premium seating's going up because people want the amenities, the food and bevies, the air conditioned, all that stuff. So, and they're going to put thinking about putting like a roof canopy on it as well. So some of the hot games get a little bit of shade. Which I'm completely down for.
It's a good idea. Absolutely.
Yeah, really good idea. Really good idea. Any place in Florida, I still say we should outlaw any outdoor games in September. It cannot be day games. They have to be night games, every one of them, because it's just ridiculous. Even the night games can be bad. All right. What else? Did we forget anything today? Oh, the Mike Williams story. Evidently, he is not dead. He is on life support.
Right.
So prayers for him. The former Buccaneer 4th round pick in 2011, 2010.
Yes.
Great dude. There was a heartbreaking story. His daughter was in there, and he hasn't been able to move since he got hit in a construction accident. He got hit by a steel beam. He's paralyzed, but he evidently started crying when his daughter came in the room. So he was responsive. So his brain is working. He just, what a horrible, horrible story. But prayers for him and his family, and hope that turns out great, or at least there's some mercy there.
Right,
it's a terrible situation,
and that is the reason why it's not always great to be first on the story, right?
Yeah.
It's not, because here we go with somebody on life support, not dead now. So,
yeah. That's a terrible situation.
Yep.
All right. Our thanks to all our guests today who joined us, James Ludeman, Harry the Greek, and Scott Carter with our Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. We'll be back tomorrow with a big football Friday. By the way, our patio night has been changed to Monday nights. We're going to do Monday nights at the patio, not Friday. So we'll do Monday Night Football there. So come join us this upcoming Monday for our first remote broadcast on Monday night, 4 to 6 for happy hour there at the patio. We'll see you tomorrow right here on this wonderful show. See you then.